Hi everybody, we're just recording a little video today to talk to you about the importance of reading, because normally at this time of the year we'd have our parents' reading meeting, but obviously with everything going on we can't unfortunately have you into school. So I'm just going to start with the importance of reading stories at bedtime to your child. So your storybooks might be a little bit more challenging than the reading books we send home, but it's really important that you still expose your children to these sorts of books, because there are so many benefits to reading to them at bedtime. So one of the benefits is that it helps with their own independent reading. So if they see words that they recognise, they might be able to use them again with their spelling and their own reading. It also helps to expand their vocabulary by introducing them to new words. It helps them to spark their imagination so they can be really creative when they're doing their own reading and writing. And most importantly, it's really good for bonding time, a really nice time with your child, and to make it part of their routine at night. So this is one of my favourite stories, A Squash and a Squeeze, and I love reading this to the children. And when I'm reading it to the children, I ask them lots of questions about the pictures. So here I've even got some questions that I might ask them. I ask them questions about new words that we might not know. But if you don't have these storybooks at home, you can borrow them from school, and also you can create your own stories. You can just make them up. And another thing that's really important to know is that if you can't read English, it is totally fine. You can read books in your home language. In fact, we actually encourage you to do that. So that is our storybooks for bedtime. So the children might not be able to read all the words in that yet, but that is totally normal for this point in year one. So the books that we send them home look a bit like this. And that's because in school, every day we have a phonics session, and a phonics teaches the children how to blend and read words. So your child might be on single letter sounds like ah, and then we would teach them to read and blend words by reading s, at, sat, s, at, sat. Or your child might be reading two letters making one sound, which is a digraph. So they might begin to read ch, I, p, chip. So they wouldn't read it as k, I, p, because that doesn't make sense. They'd see the digraph, they'd see ch, I, p, chip. And they begin to use what they've learned in their lessons every day to support them with their reading book at home. So if your child has been sent home a book like this, it is really important that you practice the words that are in it. So you might not read the whole book in one go, but you might read little bits of it just to encourage them to be reading a little bit more independently. And when we send the books home, at the beginning, it'll have some sounds. So I can see this book has ch, sh, th, and ng. They're 4 sounds that we're learning in school. So then they might go on to practice reading the words with it. And then in your storybook, they'll be exposed to lots of words with that sound. Another really important part about reading is the questioning in the book. So as much as it is important for them to be able to read and decode the words, it's really important they understand what they're reading. So if you need any support with that, with the questions to ask, you can look at the front and you can look at the back of the book, and that will give you some really nice ideas. And if there's anything that you're ever stuck on with your questioning or your reading books, please feel free to ask your class teacher. We're going to be sending books home every Friday, so please on a Friday make sure your child comes with their backpack, and because that is our reading day, and we'll be reading with the children and we'll be sending them their new book for the weekend and for the following week. And also another really important thing to add is that even if your child has finished that book, read it again so they become a bit more fluent, because in class we read the same story over and over again and the children can then retell the story, and that's a really, really important skill to have. So I'm going to now hand you over to Miss Manning, who's going to talk to you a little bit about how reading at home is different this year because we don't have any planners.
As Miss Small said, we're no longer having paper planners, so instead we're going to have it on Google Classroom. I'm going to take you through how you fill out your reading record. So as soon as you come onto Google Classroom, you click on the left hand side, all topics, and if you scroll down to the bottom, there is a topic called reading. Click on reading record and straight onto the Google form here. As it loads, you will see this page. The first thing you need to do is click on first and last name, enter in your child's first and last name, scroll down, click onto book title, type in the title of the book, Then scroll down to the next one where it will be how many pages you've read with your child. If you continue to scroll, there will be 2 more questions. So if you ask your child, did they enjoy the book and what was their favourite part? And then the last one is, did they find anything tricky? So anything tricky that they found, you can just write it straight in there. When you're finished, just press submit, and that is that.